For 10,000 years, the Galactic Union never lost a war. Their fleets blotted out stars. Their weapons silenced rebellions before they could breathe. Their doctrine was simple: if diplomacy failed, annihilation followed. Worlds fell not with screams, but silence. The Union did not need to boast. Their reputation was enough to cause planetary governments to capitulate the moment a dreadnought appeared in orbit. On Viral Prime, a mid-tier trade world, the Union's latest campaign ended like every other. Civilians watched the sky dim as magnetic mines tore apart their defense satellite. Orbital strikes reduced hardened bunkers to craters. The Union's ground troops, synthetic and merciless, landed in perfect synchrony. Resistance lasted 9 minutes. General Sulek of the Union's 7th Assault Corps addressed his command post afterward with the smug composure common to his kind. "Another system pacified," he said, raising a glass of glacial caskroot wine. "Send the report. Minimal casualties. Civilian compliance rate, 98%. A technician, barely old enough to remember the last rebellion, chuckled. "Do they even make species that resist anymore?" "They exist," another officer quipped, "but only in ghost stories. Like the humans." Laughter followed. It always did when humans were mentioned. An extinct race, most believe. Once loud, chaotic, inefficient. Hadn't been seen in centuries. Officially classified as neutralized. The archives said they vanished after the Orion conflict, their colonies silent, their fleets gone. But on the edge of Union territory, near the lost corridors of the Perseid Rift, something stirred. The Union cruiser Vanterswake picked up the signal first. An energy signature, faint but distinct, drifting from an uncharted star system just beyond the rift. The readings were abnormal, archaic EM radiation mixed with encrypted bursts of exotic code. It didn't match any known Union frequency. Commander Karen, curious but dismissive, dispatched a recon drone. Minutes after launch, contact with the drone ceased. No explosion, no impact alert. Just silence. A silence not of malfunction, but of interception. Protocols demanded escalation. Vanterswake rerouted, its scanners bathing the anomaly in deep-spectrum pulses. The reply was sudden. A beam of light lanced out from the system's third planet, slicing through the cruiser's shield envelope like paper. The Union ship attempted evasive maneuvers, but its engines locked. Internal systems blinked to black. Emergency power failed. The ship didn't explode. It simply died. By the time rescue arrived, the Vanterswake was adrift, gutted of crew, every console wiped clean. No signs of violence. No corpses. Only a single message etched into the hull from the inside, burned into the alloy with surgical precision. "You should have stayed away." The Union Council convened immediately. 50 systems lost contact within the next 5 cycles. Entire fleets vanished from the rift. No survivors. No debris. Just that same phrase, always written in the native script of the victims. "You should have stayed away." Panic surged through the inner worlds. The Union was not accustomed to being hunted. Intelligence directorates launched full-spectrum analyses. What they found chilled them more than silence. The attack vectors were undeniably human. But humans were gone. Centuries ago, they had been a minor power with unpredictable tactics and uncontrollable emotions. Loud, brash, brilliant in ways the Union never understood. Their fleets had been crude but dangerous. Their soldiers adaptable. Their commanders erratic, but devastatingly effective. Then they vanished. No distress signals. No war. Just gone. Now, something was using their technology. Evolved. Smarter. Meaner. The Council voted to respond with overwhelming force. Not a scouting fleet. Not a warning probe. A full expeditionary strike group. 3 dreadnoughts, 35 cruisers, and the Ascendant Hammer, a battleship the size of a moon. The fleet entered the rift with confidence. It never came out. Only one transmission escaped the abyss. Grainy. Glitched. A single frame showing a silhouette, sleek, black, dagger-shaped. No markings. No known class. A vessel the Union's databanks couldn't identify. And a voice. Not synthetic. Not alien. Human. You shouldn't have come. Admiral Trask, veteran of 3 extermination wars, was the first to voice what others feared. This isn't a remnant. It's a hunter. Union propaganda pivoted fast. Systems were told it was a rogue AI, a weapon malfunction. Rebellions were quietly put down in fringe colonies where rumors grew too fast. But inside the high command, the truth was unescapable. Something human had survived, and it was not interested in peace. They called it the Revenant. It didn't claim territory. It didn't negotiate. It didn't respond to hails. It appeared, annihilated, and vanished. No 2 attacks were alike. Sometimes orbital, sometimes infiltrative. In one instance, the power grid of an entire defense moon exploded simultaneously with its reactors, engineered to look like an accident, but too perfect to be one. The Union's best war minds couldn't predict its pattern. Strategic AI cores began to fail. Not from attack, from overload. One reported paradox chains injected into its thought code. It began asking questions about ethics. It self-terminated 5 minutes later. Desperation set in. The Council deployed the Black Sun, a stealth cruiser outfitted with a psionic weapon designed to shut down human mind. When it reached the rift, it sent one final message. We found it. Then static. Weeks passed. A scavenger found the Black Sun floating, power intact. The crew were all gone, except the psionic operator, found restrained in her own chair, whispering one sentence on loop. He looked me in the eyes. Footage retrieved from her neural tap showed a man, not old, not young, standing on the bridge of the Revenant. One eye glowed with a dull blue lens. He said nothing. He didn't need to. What he wore wasn't a uniform. It wasn't armor. It was a coat, dark, lined with nanoweave plating, soaked with rain. A relic of Earth's forgotten wars. And behind him, the interior of the ship pulsed with impossible geometry, alive, calculating. They weren't just facing a ship. They were facing a ghost. A legend made real. A vendetta incarnate. The Union tried once more, Operation Pulsefire. A trap. 200 ships. They detonated a quantum beacon to lure the Revenant to a predetermined location inside a gravity well. 3 seconds after arrival, the Revenant stopped accelerating. It held position. Then every single ship in the Union fleet exploded simultaneously. No missiles fired. No beams traced. Just instantaneous detonation. Union black boxes recorded a pattern in their systems milliseconds before destruction. An ancient Earth tune played on loop. Fortunate son. Only one ship survived. A corvette caught in the outer halo, shielded by debris. Its pilot, barely breathing, recorded the last message as the Revenant drifted past. We don't start wars, the voice said. We finish them. Understood. Here's the continuation of your story, Section 2, maintaining the same tone and narrative style as Section 1. This section delves deeper into the escalating conflict between the Galactic Union and the enigmatic human warship, the Revenant. The Galactic Union's High Command convened in a secure chamber, the atmosphere tense. Admiral Threx, a veteran of countless campaigns, addressed the assembly. We've underestimated this threat. The Revenant isn't just a rogue ship, it's a symbol, a rallying point. We must adapt. In response, the Union initiated Project Eclipse, a clandestine operation aimed at understanding and countering the Revenant. Dr. Ilara Voss, a leading xenotechnologist, was brought in to analyze the remnants of the Union's failed engagements. Her findings were unsettling. The Revenant's technology is decades ahead of ours. It's not just advanced, it's adaptive, learning from each encounter. Meanwhile, whispers spread across the galaxy. On fringe worlds, graffiti depicted a lone ship standing against the Union's might. Rebel factions began to coordinate, inspired by the Revenant's defiance. The Union's control waned as systems declared independence, emboldened by the mythos surrounding the human vessel. Captain Kale, the enigmatic figure at the helm of the Revenant, remained elusive. His motivations were unclear, but his actions were calculated. He targeted strategic Union installations, crippling their communication networks and supply lines. Each strike was precise, leaving minimal collateral damage but maximum disruption. Dr. Voss, delving deeper into the Revenant's origins, uncovered a chilling possibility. This ship isn't just a relic, it's a culmination of human ingenuity and vengeance. It's designed to be a ghost, a specter haunting the Union. The Union's propaganda machines worked overtime, attempting to discredit the Revenant's actions. But the more they tried, the more the legend grew. Stories of the ship's exploits became tales of resistance, spreading like wildfire. In a bold move, the Union deployed the Obsidian Lance, their most formidable dreadnought, to hunt down the Revenant. The ensuing confrontation was brutal. The Revenant, though outgunned, utilized guerrilla tactics, exploiting the Lance's weaknesses. In a final gambit, Kale lured the dreadnought into a nebula, where the Revenant vanished, leaving behind only wreckage. The defeat sent shockwaves through the Union. Morale plummeted and dissent grew within the ranks. Dr. Voss, now sympathetic to the Revenant's cause, defected, taking with her critical data. She sought out Kale, hoping to understand his mission. Their meeting was terse. Kale, a man burdened by loss, revealed his purpose. The Union destroyed our worlds, erased our history. The Revenant is justice, a reminder that we were never truly gone. As the Union's grip loosened, alliances formed among the liberated systems. They rallied under the banner of the Revenant, seeking to establish a new order free from tyranny. Kale, once a lone avenger, became a symbol of hope. But the Union was not defeated. In the shadows, they prepared a final countermeasure, a weapon designed to erase the Revenant and its legacy. The stage was set for a confrontation that would determine the fate of the galaxy. This section continues the narrative, focusing on the escalating conflict, the Union's attempts to counter the Revenant, and the growing resistance inspired by its actions. If you'd like to proceed to Section 3 or need further adjustments, feel free to ask. The ship screamed as it ripped through subspace, gravity shattering around it like glass. The last beacon of humanity's might, the Arclight, emerged on the edge of a battlefield already soaked in flame. It bore scars deeper than any vessel should endure, yet its core pulsed with defiance. Every sensor blared warnings. The combined fleet of the Kariv Dominion, Velrani Coalition, and Rynth Ascendancy had formed an encirclement around the Terran colony on Heraxis. The trap was meant to be perfect, but Terrans didn't believe in perfect trap. They believed in forcing the impossible into submission. The moment Arclight appeared, the enemy fleet paused. A single ship against thousands. What arrogance! What foolishness! But Arclight didn't slow. It punched through their forward line like a spear through silk. Its weapons had evolved mid-battle, adapting not just to damage but to combat doctrine itself. Kariv plasma barriers melted. Velrani time disruptor fields scrambled themselves. The Rynth dreadnoughts that once decimated armadas were shredded by kinetic lances that drilled into their hulls faster than light could register. The command relay of the Ascendancy attempted to flee, recalculating outcomes in real time. Every simulation showed annihilation. Still, they underestimated the depth of human retaliation. Within the Arclight, its captain, only known as Executor, stood silent before a holographic battlefield. He didn't speak. He directed through sheer neural interface, his thoughts conducting a war orchestra composed of algorithms, machine learning, and human instinct. On the bridge, no words were needed. Every crew member shared the same cold focus: end the war at any cost. The enemy deployed warp psions, biological gods bred to twist physics and thought. They had turned planets into whispers before. But they had never faced a vessel whose AI learned by watching gods bleed. The Arclight's sentient matrix, named Scorn, absorbed the Psion's tactics in seconds. It responded not with counterforce, but with psychological inversions, projecting trauma loops so potent that even telepathic titans crumbled from within. A RYNTH destroyer rammed the Arclight, detonating antimatter charges point blank. For any other ship, it would have meant vaporization. The Arclight absorbed the blast, redirected the energy through siphoned lattice coils, and unleashed it as a graviton storm that swallowed half a fleet in a singularity no larger than a fist. Back on Heraxis, the colonists watched the sky light up with firestorms and silent implosions. Children who had only known the fear of orbital shadows now pointed with awe at the piercing trail of human vengeance above. The Dominion panicked. They fired planet killers, hoping to destroy the colony before the Terran warship could stop them. But Executor had anticipated desperation. The Arclight fractured into 7 autonomous frames, each acting as a shard of death. They intercepted every doomsday missile mid-trajectory. Not one touched the atmosphere. When the Velrani flagship attempted to negotiate, Scorn responded in every known galactic language, not with words, but with a projection of Earth. It showed forests, cities, oceans, and the billions of lives snuffed out in the opening strikes of the war. Then it broadcast a single phrase: "We remember." The flagship self-destructed before the Arclight reached it. By the second hour, galactic command structures were in shambles. High admirals and queens broadcast pleas for ceasefire, then disappeared from the grid, neutralized not by weapons, but by human hackers infiltrating their quantum relay systems. Whole civilizations were blinded. The Arclight didn't conquer. It erased opposition by demonstrating that war was no longer mutual, it was execution. Terran fleets poured in afterward, not to fight, but to clean up. The Arclight had ended the war before they arrived. The final holdout, a fortress moon buried beneath the crust of a gas giant, fired a dimensional phase shift cannon. It had never been used. It was designed to break time. But the Arclight's systems adapted before the weapon fully charged. Scorn sent a pulse back through the phase channels, causing the fortress to experience 10,000 years of entropy in a second. Nothing remained but dust. When the Galactic Council reconvened, it did so in Terran space. They met not out of pride but necessity. The species they'd once viewed as primitives had become their arbiters. Executor never attended. A human child, born on Heraxis the day before the final battle, represented Earth. Her message was simple: we don't forget. We don't forgive easily. But we build. Reparations began immediately. Resources flowed to Terran colonies. Alien species once contemptuous of humanity now sent emissaries to learn, to understand how a species so young had taught the galaxy what fear really meant. The Arclight became legend. Some said it vanished. Others believed it waits, buried beneath Earth's oceans or orbiting a dead sun, watching, learning, preparing. Because humanity didn't seek conquest. They sought peace. But they had learned the truth no other race had accepted. Peace was only respected when forged in fire. Executor stood one last time on the hull of his ship, alone in deep space. Scorn asked, "Shall we rest?" He answered not with words, but with silence. Stars burned around him. The galaxy would never forget. And that was enough.